What is your stance on immigration? Would you build a wall as well?
That's what I want to know.
And what will you do to help open up our borders and make the freedom of flow a little easier?
So two opposites, open borders, build a wall.
Well, first let me say I think we need to...
I mean, you could have been turned them in. Anyway, next story. I can keep going on and on with this shit. Oh yeah, this is more my I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. Please stop saying that stuff to me. Well, that's what y'all get for voting for the Democratic cities. Nigga, first of all, what makes you think I vote? I'll vote, but not for no president. Are you kidding me? That's bullshit, nigga. That's all a farce. Electoral college. Don't vote. It's going to go how they wanted to go when they wanted to go. Anyway, but I do see myself as somewhat of a freedom fighter, and this lady perhaps might be the leader of the resistance. I'm new to learning about the Green Party and what they stand for. I watched the interview with the Breakfast Club. I've watched a couple of more interviews on what her policies are and what her stances are. I haven't actually read anything yet because who the fuck is reading? No, I'll read, but just I don't have a lot of time. But in the meantime, this is her stance on immigration. I've yet to see this, and immigration is somewhat of a big deal for me. And this will pretty much seal the deal of whether or not I'm leaning towards voting green. Even if you want to call it a wasted vote, I don't give a fuck. I'm down with the resistance. Here we go.
Back with our Green Party Town Hall. Dr. Jill Stein will now take your questions on personal freedoms and hot-button social issues. Immigration, for example.
What is your stance on immigration? Would you build a wall as well?
That's what I want to know.
And what will you do to help open up our borders and make...
And don't get it fucked up. All right, I'm going to let her go.
The freedom of flow a little easier.
So two opposites, open borders, build a wall.
Well, first let me say I think we need to demilitarize our borders.
To take away the border guards?
Well, certainly take away their guns, and I do not believe we need a wall.
Border guards without guns? I mean, some people want to kill us. What would the border guards do without guns?
You lose me, Joe.
Well, do we have guns in Canada? You know, do we have guns on the Canadian border?
Yeah.
Well, not many. If people think we have an immigration crisis, which in fact we do, I think the most important thing is for us to stop causing that crisis in the first place. NAFTA.
I do agree with that. True. But what about the niggas right now? Although it has reduced drastically. Somehow the Democrats found a way around election time to stem the flow of free-flowing migrants into the country.
Is showing a significant decline in migrants being taken into custody since President Biden's executive action was announced in early June.
Good afternoon, Paul. Today I spoke with U.S. Border Patrol El Paso sector, who told me that this fiscal year 2024, which started back in October of last year, has seen a 37% decrease in encounters compared to last fiscal year 2023. U.S. Border Patrol, and we're remembering seeing an increase in encounters back in 2022 and 2023 due to the migrant searches before and after Title 42 expired. Paul, U.S. Border Patrol El Paso sector also states that currently they're seeing an average of 380 migrant encounters a day. When Title 42 ended, authorities were seeing more than 2,400 encounters a day. In 2022, Border Patrol El Paso sector recorded over 193,000 encounters. In 2022, over 307,000, and last year, over 427,000 migrant encounters. This year, the border has seen over 218,000 so far. U.S. Border Patrol El Paso sector says this is happening because of the consequences individuals face while crossing into the U.S. illegally.
Somehow.
Caused that crisis by putting millions of farmers out of work south of the border, forcing people to come here as economic refugees. The war on drugs has killed 100,000 people in Mexico alone in the last 6 or 7 years. That's a big problem. We need to end the war on drugs. What we really need to do is stop invading and destabilizing other countries.
And I agree with her on that, on the long term, in the long term. But what about what's going on now? What are we doing? Reinvest in those countries? Like, don't come here. We'll bring some shit down to your house. You know what I'm saying? We'll bring you a little something, and then you ain't gotta come here in particular. How about we bring some stuff down there?
On Facebook, Dan.
Which is not necessarily. I don't know. I don't know. I was feeling Jill, but I don't know about this one, Jill.
Wagoner posted, what is your stand on late-term abortion?
I think that abortion, well, put it this way. I never had one, but I do believe in individual choice. This is not where government needs to get into your living room or your bedroom and make these decisions for you.
Even late.
I do feel like that, but there is a... See, that's why I can't agree with no fucking body. I feel like what she said is accurate. If you don't believe in abortion, don't have one. You know what I mean? But there has to be some level. You can't 9 months and you get rid of the baby. You know what I mean? Can the baby survive outside the wound? You know, doctors should be able to tell us that more accurately. At what level? You know what I mean? And I'm not even a pro-life guy or a pro-choice person. I think, first of all, I don't think men should necessarily be able to vote about it. But I do think there should be a cutoff point. There's a point where that's a full person inside of your body. You know what I mean? Where that point is, I don't know. I think that's up to scientists and doctors and shit. But I don't know. I was feeling you, Jill. Let's go.
Turn. You're a doctor. I mean, most states have some restriction.
I think women and their healthcare providers are capable of making these decisions
Even
on their
at
own
8
behalf.
months.
Again, I think women can make these decisions, but let me say, I think the most important thing here is for us to have full reproductive health care, and that includes family planning.
Audience, you have questions? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Dr. Stein.
Hi.
I'm a psychotherapist, and I'm just wondering how you would go about improving the mental health services of this country.
This is, again, why we need improved...
Now, to be fair, I'm looking, this is 8 years ago. This is 8 years ago. This is prior to the current border crisis. So perhaps our ideas have changed. So I'm gonna try to find something sooner, but I couldn't find anything with her addressing the current border crisis. And it smells as if, at least at this point, she was looking to goddamn open the border. She said demilitarize them, then it's not a border. That's what makes a border enforcement. You need a gun. You can't. It's Mexico, for God's sake.
Medicare for all, so that we are covered head to toe, cradle to grave, mental health, physical health, reproductive health, your hearing aid. It's all covered. For the same amount of money that we're paying right now, we could be fully covered.
It sounds like magic.
Well, it's the magic of getting corporations out of the business of writing our health care policy. That's the magic.
I might agree.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Dr. Stein.
Hi.
My question has to do with, will the president be able to hold the police a bit more accountable for how they're dealing with the civilians?
Thank you, and thanks for raising that issue, because that's really a critical problem right now. There have been something like 600 or 700 deaths at the hands of police this year alone. It's really reached...
You got a 5-link shirt on. Remember that? It gets your friends to come trick you to come to some goddamn ballroom in a Ramada. Try to get them $500 so you can get $500 from somebody else. Like, don't cut his dick off, dog!